Alright, what's going on my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Now, what we're talking about in this video is actually something that has been coming out over the last couple of days, but I feel like I should definitely make a video on this, especially for beginner players jumping into the game for the first time, or even if you're a returning player. This is actually kind of important. We're going to be talking about all of these new Choose Your Legend mails that have been arriving. Now, as of today, there have been 3 mails delivered, so we're going to discuss these. I personally haven't even selected any of these units yet. I've just left my mail. I know that a lot of people out there have probably already selected their units, and that's okay, but there are plenty of mails to continue over the next couple of days or the next week or so. So I want to give you guys my opinion about each of these mails and determining like which is like the best unit in each of these ones that you should be thinking about picking up. And I mean, just at face value, you know, like, you should be picking up units that you want, because I don't think it's that much of a game changer if you, like, you know, pick a certain unit and you don't pick up another unit. It's completely dependent on your own account. And just a little bit of a note as well, that you have until June 30th to select your characters from each of these mails, so just a bit of a heads up in regards to that. Okay, so let's talk about this. So the first mail here, the first one that got delivered, not too many big hitters in this one. I mean, I think this Doflamingo is probably one of the best ones you could pick. This unit's really good because of his really good captain ability for driven teams, removing special bind, and he's okay in Rumble, I suppose. And then you've got Bullet, who's okay. Like, super effective damage as a captain is very unique, and not many characters actually have that. I think he's like only one of 2 characters that have that, which is very, very cool. But then also Jack, and I think Jack is an interesting one because he is an EXP boosting captain. Now, at this point in time, he's not the best EXP boosting captain. Sai Marco or the new Roger that have just come out, they are better units to use. But if you don't have those units, picking up Jack for EXP is actually pretty viable, to be honest. The rest of these units, though, not really that great. One thing to kind of note, though, is that like some of the older units here, like this Luffy, he doesn't actually have a super evolution, so that would be interesting to see what happens with him. So I guess for this one, I think Jack for EXP if you don't have an EXP captain. If not, then I'd probably go with Doflamingo, because sometimes he's just really nice to have. Outside of that, it's just kind of up to your choice. We move on to mail number 2. So this is going to be focusing on some Dex units. Now, out of these ones here, Hiyori comes up straight away. This unit is amazing. If you have Enmazor and you don't have Hiyori, 100% this is your pick. You will 100% need to pick Hiyori. If you've got Super Sugo, Quick Zoro, but you don't have Hiyori, you pick Hiyori. But even if you like don't just have Hiyori and you don't have Zoro, still picking Hiyori is very good because she's a phenomenal unit and sees play a lot of the time. Almost every treasure map I will be using Hiyori because of her crewmate ability to generate a full board of Wano slots at the start of the quest. It's unparalleled, dude. She's so good, and she's got a great utility special as well. And she's just solid. I mean, as for the rest of the units here, Queen is okay. He's not terrible. Zoro doesn't have a 6+ yet, but could be very good with a 6+. Nami is very good for one of the Grand Voyages, so do keep that in mind if you need duplicates for that. It's nice for the level limit break. Doflamingo is really good in Rumble, so if you want a good Dex unit in Rumble, Doflamingo is a good choice. And also Blackbeard is good in Rumble, but Hiyori is definitely the #1 pick. And then if you need Grand Voyage help, potentially Nami if you're stuck on that content. But then you've got Queen, you've got Doflamingo and Blackbeard, and I think Zoro could potentially be in that case. Like, the ones in the top row are just kind of bad, except for Hiyori. Like, she's definitely the best pick here. Now, moving on to day 3, this is the one as of the recording and release of this video. That is what this one is currently out right now. So we've got Ben Beckman Lucky Roo, one of my favorite legends that debuted last year, but he is solely focused on shooter teams, so he's a little bit difficult to use because shooters are not the best class out there. The next big one is Super Tandem Law. Very nice unit to have. Very good Super Tandem when you've got it maxed out. Remember, these are all generic legends, so you're going to be able to pick up these characters in the future at some point in time if you get lucky enough, of course, because there's a lot of generic units in the game. But Law is really strong, nice unit to have. King is okay, but doesn't really see much play. You got Viva Rebecca, Shirahoshi Manchuri. Shirahoshi Manchuri in particular is a really good unit. She has hunger, which is nice to have, but also the healing, removing paralysis and despair, I believe it is. Big chain boosting effect, full board of slots. Like, Shirahoshi Manchuri, very, very good unit. Smoker doesn't have a 6+ yet, could be potentially pretty good. Sober Mask also doesn't have a 6+ yet, could be very, very good. And then we've also got the Luffy, who is not that great, in all honesty. You probably don't need to pick him up. So in terms of the big ones here, I think if you don't have any of these units and you're like a new player, I think Shirahoshi Manchuri is like the shoe-in pick you should get. Lore is also pretty good. Ben Beckman Lucky Roo, very good unit, probably one of the best units that we've seen thus far in the first 3 males, but only for shooter teams, which is a bit of an issue. Male number 4 coming the next day tomorrow. We've got some interesting units here. So in terms of the ones that stand out, Rayleigh Gaban is massive. Removing attack down as a captain, removing special bind guaranteed pretty much is awesome. So Rayleigh Gaban, big hitters there. Usopp Yasop, guaranteed conditional boost is kind of nice. Odin in Rumble, phenomenal of course. Wano Law in Rumble, obviously. Shanks Crew with their 6+, and if you have level limit break, I mean, look, if you're selecting this character because you don't have them, you're not going to get level limit break, but I will say Shanks Crew consistently sees play in lots of content. Special bind removing captain, very good switch effect, great set of skills. I use them quite often in like treasure maps and stuff like that. Like Shanks Crew are just phenomenal, so do keep that in mind. The rest of them, I mean, like Kuzan V2, pretty good in Rumble as well. If you want to use him in a mono side team, also could use him in like a quick size shooter team with Ben Beckman Lucky Roo. So that's a cool combo. But I think definitely out of these ones, Rayleigh Gaban are the ones that will see the most play. I think Shanks Crew definitely will see a lot of play as well. After that, it's kind of up in the air and kind of depending on what you have on your account. The next male number 5, May 30th. We've got some interesting ones here. I think Jack is a pretty good unit. Of course, he works really well with Alba and Queen, but if you don't have those units, like Jack is still pretty good by himself. The Film Red Chopper, a duping cotton candy captain, so that's pretty nice to have. Great utility in his special, but also the big thing of multiple turns of pretty good cerebral and int color affinity boosting, so that's pretty cool. Kid is not too bad, super tandem Kid, very similar to Lore in a lot of ways, but for like striker and driven teams, so Kid is okay. Moria, very good in Rumble, one of the most annoying characters to deal with in Pirate Rumble, and his skills in normal content are actually pretty good. He's just kind of a little bit power crept, but at face value is pretty good. And then you've got Buggy here as well, which can dupe drop any item at the end of a quest, but he's got a very bad captain ability. Like, it's a really weak captain, so you're only really using him for very easy content, like your daily islands or stuff like that, to get duplicate drops. So personally, I've never really been like that big of a fan of Buggy. I mean, when he first came out, it was massive, guaranteeing drops, but if you've got Nami Karina, for example, you just straight up do not need Buggy anymore. Though I will say the Buggy is pretty good for one of the Grand Voyages when you have investments invested into him, but if you're selecting it for that reason, it is what it is. But I think out of these ones, there's not many good ones out of this one, I will say. But like this Chopper's pretty good, Jack is pretty good, Moria, very good in Rumble. The rest of them, up to your discretion. Now we get to have a look at the next set of males. So male number 6 on the May 31st, going back to the strength typing, Kanjuro just doesn't see a lot of play. Izo, very good for those shooter teams, of course, but shooters are not that great. What else? I mean, Luffy Sanji, I suppose, doesn't have a 6+ yet, could be very good with a 6+, but not really a big fan of the unit, honestly. I mean, this is a pretty bad selection, though saying that, like, a lot of these don't have 6+s yet, you know? You got, like, Sabu Koala with a 6+, could be very good. Luffy Zoro with a 6+, could be very good. Mihawk Perona with a 6+, could be pretty good. Luffy Sanji doesn't have a 6+. Sweet Commanders don't have a 6+. So there's good potential units in the future, but as of right now, this is a really, really bad male. Not a lot of good choices. This one, in my opinion, it's literally up to your decision which one you want. Moving to the Dex one, and I can see one immediately that I think is kind of like one you should probably get, and that's going to be Robin and Jinbei. If you do not have Robin and Jinbei, you select Robin and Jinbei from this male. I cannot tell you how many times I have used this character in teams for PKA, Treasure Map. Just this unit has phenomenal utility, and the thing that is kind of goes unspoken a lot of the times with Robin and Jinbei is they get access to very good supports. Robin has amazing supports, Jinbei's got a couple of okay ones, but dude, Robin Jinbei is the #1 choice here. Now outside of that, if you already have them, there are actually a pretty decent amount of units that you could pick. Like Dog and Cat are both really nice speed farming captains. You've got, like, Rob Lucci just got his 6+, so everyone should be getting him, so that's not a problem. Kid with his 6+ is pretty good for Dex teams, and then Kaido is okay, I guess, for speed farming stuff, but Kaido is pretty power crept, and he doesn't have a 6+ yet either, so it'd be interesting to see what they potentially do with this Kaido with a future super evolution, but as of right now, not a lot of great choices, I guess, but I mean, these three are really good. Lucci, obviously, don't really need to get him. Kid with his 6+ is okay. Shirahoshi, Manchiri, Vivi, Rebecca, not good. Katakuri Oven, terrible unit, unfortunately. Shout out to my man, Mr. Slam Jam. Robin Jinbei is definitely the pick here. And we've got another very interesting set of mail here in number 8. So we've got the Quick Momo and Quick Hiyori. Momo is a really good choice, great utility special, and pretty good in Rumble as well. Brook, not great, unfortunately. Good support that I do use quite often, actually. It's a pretty good support, but his kit is not really the best. Halloween Boa Hancock has a great utility special, so if you need like special bind and attack down removal by 6, pretty good to have. You've got like Magellan, and Kaido is really good with his 6+, pretty good in Rumble. Sugar is okay, but not great. Onami, not great. She's okay. Good support with Onami, though. But Guild Tesoro, man. Like, Guild Tesoro is such a good pick. Phenomenal unit. Good in a lot of different content. Very good in Rumble. Good in normal content, especially with that 6+. But I think because of how new the character is, I think Momo probably is the best choice, because these older units, they're just easier to get. The older units are easier to pull compared to the newer characters, at least in my opinion. Because remember, you know, you get a lot of red tickets in the game by completing events, but more often than not, your tickets are going to be the generic pool of legends rather than limited pool legends. Limited pool legends will have the newer units in them, but considering most of the red tickets you receive are going to be generic legends that are not restricted in terms of the pools, the older legends will be a bit accessible to get compared to the newer ones. For those reasons, I think Momo is probably the best choice, but I think Tesoro is probably the second best choice, because with investments, with that 6+, phenomenal unit in a lot of content. Unfortunately, Katakuri gets the short end of the stick, not really that great. Kaido and Rumble is good. Good utility special with Boa, and Hiyori is okay as well. I think Momo is the best choice, and Tesoro is probably right up there as well. After that, it's up to your choice. Okay, so we've got some pretty interesting one here with mail number 9. So we've got like pretty good units here. Like this might be the most difficult selection, because you've got Uta, who is one of the best legends that debuted last year. Sai Momonosuke, another great legend that debuted last year. I mean, Sengoku, you probably don't need him. Marco, if you need an EXP captain, he's literally equal with Roger in terms of the EXP multiplier that they give you as a captain. So for that reason, Marco is a great choice. You've got Frankie Tanky. I think Frankie Tanky's pretty good still. You've got the Sai Straw Hats. They're okay, but you could probably skip out on them. You probably don't need Germa. V3 Rayleigh with a 6+, man, is pretty good, but he only really gets to that usable position, I think, with investment. I do have the database up right here, which I can actually go ahead and have a look. So Rayleigh, without any investments, is he actually good? I'm not too sure. Yeah, so it says in the notes of the special that with level limit break, you can activate one other special during the same turn you use the Rayleigh special. But then if you don't have level limit break, then that means you can, when you use Rayleigh special, it's the only special you can use during the turn. So that's a pretty big downside. So I guess Rayleigh probably isn't a good choice for that reason, but he's pretty nice. Sai Chopper as well, man. Like, Sai Chopper is such a good utility unit. Like, the ability to get healing and removing a bunch of debuffs by 5 turns, and it's a Sai Straw Hat that you can synergize and use as EX super requirements or super tandem requirements for a lot of the top tier units in the game. Sai Chopper is probably the best choice here if you're a beginner player. And then you got not Super Tandem Luffy, you've got Stampede Luffy. So this is going to be a really hard decision. So I guess it really comes down, again, to what's in your box. I think Sai Chopper is the #1 choice because of the sheer usefulness that he has in lots of content. Saying that, though, he is an older legend, so he's going to be easier to acquire as you play through the game. But then you've got, like, these ones at the top end with Uta and also with Momo. So I think it really comes down to what type of player you are, you know? If you've already got a bunch of good utility units on your account, then picking up Chopper, even if you don't have him, might not be the best choice. Potentially picking up the more difficult to acquire Uta or Momo will be the best choice. But I think normally speaking, Chopper probably is the best choice. And then we're going to finish off with male number 10 with another set of int focused characters. Fuji and Kizaru, no. Alba is amazing, so I think Alba is probably the best choice. He deals with a lot of stuff by himself. Queen is also very, very good. Corazon and Law, they're fine, but I think you could skip them. You got this Big Mom, which is kind of like whatever. You don't need this Big Mom at all. She's kind of terrible. You've got Halloween Perona's fine. Marco, probably not. Bonnie, she did receive the 6+ recently, making her a lot better for sure. But you don't need her, especially if you have been playing the last month or so, as you'll already have her. Pudding is very good, so don't disregard Pudding. She has a very unique set of skills. With a 6+ gets a lot better as well, so I think Pudding is a very good choice. Shanks you could definitely skip out on. So I think for the final male, I think it's kind of a toss-up between Alba, Queen, or Pudding. I think Alba is like the strongest unit out of all of these units. Queen is also very, very nice to have. And then Pudding is another great utility focused unit. Again, Pudding's an older unit, so easier to get. But you've got Alba and Queen, who I think are the best. Probably Alba is just straight up the best one that you could pick from this pool here. So I really hope this kind of helps you out in terms of determining which characters you want to pick up. Remember, you have until June 30 to actually pick up these units. So what you could actually do is literally just hoard all of the males, and then right as they're about to expire, you could pick them all up, because you could still do pulls between now and June 30th, and you could end up pulling a unit that you select. So the best course of action is to hoard the males until you absolutely need the unit, or until they're about to expire. But then it leaves it up to your decision, because if you do that and you forget to pick them up before they expire, then you lose out on some free units. So keep that in mind, or you could just, take the safe route, just pick the unit as it comes up. But hopefully this video has helped you guys out for the celebration. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. And that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.